it says in our studio you're now live. Morning, Peter.
Morning.
And good morning for the first time to everybody on Royston Radio. We're quite excited to be with you on Sunday at 11 o'clock. And, well, just thank you to Fons Chamberlain for making it possible. And during the next hour, you'll be listening to myself, Peter Stewart, and John Upton when John Upton arrives. And we're on a countdown in the studio at the moment because we're going live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitch and the website. So we start every show with sort of 1 minute countdown so everybody can join us live on air. And we've got 9 seconds to go. And in 5 seconds, we'll be live. Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
Right, I'm going to bring that in.
Quick question: is Royston recorded?
Basically, what happens, and hello to everybody in Royston from Peter and I. This show is being recorded as normal, and then I will send the audio from this show to Fons, and then he will play it on the radio station on Sunday.
Good. I'll be on my best behaviour.
You and me both. We just have to see how it turns out, and it's good to. I mean, it's something different, isn't it? And we welcome everybody to the show. And this is, and John's arrived. This is episode 365, and we'll bring John into the studio. And where is John today? He's at the seaside. You can't see us, but you can hear us. And we say good morning. 3, 2, 1. Morning, John.
Morning. I'm about as far as you can get from the seaside as possible, of course, being in the centre of England. But I am covered in snow. Well, rather, everything around me is covered in snow. But I guess it's probably the same where you two are.
No. Well, Peter, how's the snow with you?
It's not snowing, but the snows. I live in a high part of the city, and it's still lying here on the outlying roads as well. Still got some.
I live at the bottom of 3 hills, and it's everywhere.
The only thing for me is today I'm travelling to a place called Elgin, and it's a notorious bad road in the winter because I'll be singing there tonight.
Oh dear.
Royston,
playing with your marbles then, are you?
The people of Royston, you won't hear me singing here.
Yeah. Okay. So, where do we begin? Sorry, John.
Well, just to give you an idea of how bad it was here, somebody was coming down the hill in that direction, hit the curb, flipped over, rolled over and went back upright again, but couldn't get out, and the fire brigade had to cut the roof off. And that was just from sliding in the snow and hitting the curb.
Snow is bad news, really is bad news. I mean, ours was here yesterday, and I did a broadcast because we don't get snow in Wiltshire very often. So on the day that we do, I thought I'd go live and reach out to people and find out what was going on. But at the moment, I understand Birmingham Airport is closed.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because the roads are awful around here. So it would not surprise me that BHX was closed.
All right, and Peter's muted himself. That's good. Okay, so we can't hear Peter. So you're left with myself and John. Basically, I suppose we best do an introduction for everybody who's listening on Royston. I'm Steve Healy. I live in Devizes in England. I am a live broadcaster. I teach people how to go live, and I broadcast every weekday on Amazon Live at 11 a.m. Eastern on the States and 4 p.m. UK. John, it's over to you.
Oh, am I? Well, I'm a friend of Stephen's. We've been friends for a long time, and we started doing this about 6.5, 7 years ago, nearly, I think.
Yeah.
And virtually every Thursday since we started, we're here. And we discuss anything and everything, to put it bluntly. And then occasionally Peter puts his phone down and joins in as well.
True. Peter is going to remain a mystery until he's finished his phone call because he's on duty today. So Peter has his own business up in Aberdeen, rodent control. It's called Aberkill, by the way, if you're listening. Aberkil. We thought we'd get that in before Peter does. And he's working away at the moment. You can't. The thing about radio, though, is we can be heard but not seen, which is perhaps a blessing. Who knows?
You mean they can't see that we're old fogies and we're all ugly? Yeah.
Well, no. We are rich in experience. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Right now, we keep coming back to a topic because for the 5th time in as many years, the government have a new scheme to stop the boats or people from the boats actually coming over, and waiting for Peter to come back to introduce himself. Then we go back to the boats. No, he's not introducing himself.
He's got to himself.
We just said who. Sorry.
Hello, Peter.
He's muted. I didn't mute him. Hang on.
Can you unmute me? Hold on.
We can hear you now. Just unmuted you. Right, John and I have.
It's all good.
John and I have done a short introduction as to who we are, so that the people in Royston know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think what we should tell the people of Royston what we do for a living. So
we've done that. It's your turn.
Okay.
It's your turn.
All right. Well, my name's Peter Stewart, and I'm a pest control business during the week, and I'm also a singer, now in a duo. And is Royston area in Cambridge?
It's that neck of the woods. We need our researcher just to find out exactly where it is.
Okay. So while he's doing that, just to let you know, I've actually been to a place called March in Cambridge. So I've been to your area, and a warm welcome to you all. And I hope you enjoy my rantings. Please get in touch, and please get back to us to see how you like our little show that we call it. We've done for quite a long time.
It's not in Cambridgeshire.
Is it not? Okay.
No,
it's in Royston, Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire. All right.
Just across the border.
And the airport is open.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. Why did I get? Why is that? Because the Cambridge name's linked.
Look, our connection with Royston Radio is our good friend Fons Chamberlain.
Yes. Yeah.
And Fons is part of Royston Radio and invited us to join him on air on Sundays 11 a.m. on Royston Radio, and this is the radio station.
Very good.
And their tagline is "Community is our middle name," and we are the Blabbing for Britain community. But I took this shot because at the bottom of the screen you can possibly see that today it's going to be 7 degrees, and then at the weekend it goes up to a balmy 10 and 12 degrees.
Ooh.
So spring is on its way. In fact, when does spring start?
It has already. Meteorological spring started at the beginning of the week.
When does our spring start, though? Oh, it was March 21st. I think
eat.
Because we're coming up towards the clock change, aren't we?
Are we?
I think so.
All right. Okay.
Right. Astronomical, it's 20th of March. Right, meteorological, was the beginning of the month.
Right.
So, 2 different types of spring have sprung or are about to spring.
Spring has sprung when the temperatures go up a little bit. Yeah. It's pretty cold at the moment. It is cold outside. And we're not built for the cold, are we, really?
No.
Well, we are a bit more used to up here, but I don't like it cold. That's for sure, you know. And we live in Scandinavian type houses, you know, wooden houses. And see, if you don't put up the heating, it's cold. It's cold. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully by the weekend it will be a bit warmer, because we've got the park run on Saturday, 9 o'clock, and Gurk and I will be there. But this week there will be no frost, so the race will take place. So looking forward to that. And Gurk got a personal best last week. She actually did the 3.1 mile course in under 45 minutes, which has been her target. And that's walking pretty fast. I mean, that's walking around about 14 minutes for a mile. And when you think, oh, it's snowing up in Aberdeen now, when you think that average walking pace is one of us is not using crisp. Average walking pace is 20 minutes for 1 mile. To be able to walk at 14 minutes for 1 mile is amazing. Yeah, it is good.
Well, speaking about walking, I was meant to be getting my feet sorted out on Tuesday. However, it was cancelled due to the snow. All appointments were closed. It was just absolute chaos. And our gritters got caught out. The gritters didn't go out till later. You're just never sure of the weather. Just never sure of the weather. What it does.
Well, those wet forecasts you just showed are considerably better than they are here, where tomorrow is -4, Saturday is 3 degrees, and Sunday is 9 degrees, and Monday is 4 degrees. Well, so it's a bit different here. From
as we've just learned, those are the temperatures for Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're up in Warwickshire.
No, I'm not in Warwickshire. How dare you? I'm in the West
Midlands. So you're not in Warwickshire?
No. We were in Warwickshire until 1974 when we became a county borough. And we're in the West Midlands.
You're in the West Mids. Okay. My apologies to everybody in Warwickshire.
Yeah.
And West Midlands.
I've seen Warwickshire, but never mind.
Okay.
My bus pass says West Midlands on it.
Okay, that's enough proof, John. That's good.
Proof.
Okay, right. We're just going to before we went back to the introductions, we're just going to talk about our first topic, which is the 5th attempt in probably around about 5 years to actually stop the boats from landing in the UK with illegal immigrants. We're going to start off with Peter. What do you think? Do you think the scheme that's been brought out by Sir Braverman is going to work?
Well, I do if people don't interfere with it, i.e., lefty lawyers. If basically if they're left to get on with it, I think people are upset because they're getting put into hotels, right? 5-star hotels. So they're not getting 5-star service, if you'd like. But a lot of people have had their weddings cancelled, their gym membership cancelled because they've taken over hotels. Now, what they need to do, as far as I'm concerned, what they are going to do is, if they come in here now illegally, they will be put to some sort of detention camp.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be allowed out. I don't know if that's going to happen, and they're seemingly going to be moved to deported to their original country, but that's going to be difficult because they throw their passports away, and so they're maybe just going to go places like Rwanda, and there's not a limit of about 300. It's more than that, and that's what they're doing. And if they don't do it properly this time, they're going to lose the election. If they get it right, they could possibly get back again. Sir Keir Starmer's not got an answer to it. He wouldn't answer yesterday, would he?
I just want to get this in proportion. At its height, which was 2022, 45,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a population of 70 million. It's not as if we've been invaded.
No, I didn't say.
It's not an invasion. It's not somebody who's going to take over our way of life and turn us into a third world country. We're quite capable of absorbing 45,000 people. More people than that actually immigrate come into the country legally. Yeah, and we absorb them and they become part of the workforce, and we've been doing that since the 50s. So it's not an economic thing. It's basically
Cheating.
Well, I'm thinking, John, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I understand that we've got 70,000, which is pretty similar to the population of France and not that far behind Germany. Yeah, they take more, but they have more land in which to resettle them. So are we taking our fair proportion or not? That's the big question.
Yeah, but what you're not getting to hear, because I listen to other things, and there's great distress out in the cities. Look at Ireland. I beg you to look at Ireland at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Their government is basically taking them in by the busload. And the women are called far right, and they're outside, and the papers are calling them far right because they're out there with their prams. Go look at it if you haven't seen it. And they are out there with their children.
Well,
and
the Home Secretary says that since the beginning of 2018, 85,000 people have illegally entered the UK by small boat. And of that 85,000, 45,000 of them arrived in 2022. And that's her argument for stopping illegal immigration.
Yeah, back in 2018, it was 300. It has increased. We've got to separate legal immigration, and we, as John said, we're behind Germany, we're behind France, and illegal immigration, where the numbers have gone up. But my point about this is that if people land in Dover or around Dover, and they're then taken to a camp, as Peter said, they're locked in the camp. And then as soon as we can, we send them somewhere safe. Well, back to their own country. Or heaven forfend to a 5-star hotel in Rwanda. We're just moving the problem to somebody else, aren't we? We're not solving a problem, we're just moving it.
Is we're letting them on the streets, just like they stopped that guy going back to Jamaica and he committed murder. Yeah?
We're not getting 45,000 terrorists, Peter.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there will be problems. Where are they going to house them? There are people, well, I'm an ex-soldier, as you know. There's soldiers on the street at the moment. And they're saying, we've come to get a house. We've come to get this. I don't mind them coming legally. Stop cheating the system. You stand in line. If you were in line in a shop, right, and there was a long queue, what would you say to someone that barged in front of you, Stephen? Would you just say, oh yeah, carry on, no problem, mate, we'll stand here. Let 5 others come past me to get to the shop. No problem.
The thing about the whole scheme is it's totally impractical. It just will not work. You basically, if you want to come to England, nothing is going to stop you. Okay, so it's not going to stop the boats coming. It won't. You don't find how bad it is or how good it is until you actually arrive in England. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the traffickers are not telling you don't go because you'll be sent straight back. They're not putting that as an advert. They're putting get to England. Right.
Well,
we say good morning to Alfredo. We've not seen for a while. Good morning, Alfredo. And it's very early on the East Coast. Nice to see you. Okay.
But I'm going to tell you about this. There are some migrants jumping back on lorries the other way again. Did you know that?
Nope.
They've had enough and they're going back out. And then when they went to Wick, a place up in Scotland, what did they say? We'd rather go back to our own country. Because if you've ever been to Wick, it's a bit little desolate.
Right. Question from Alfredo as we subtly changed topic. If you've any thoughts on the small boats question, then please do let Royston Radio know, and we'll discuss again next week. But we're going to calm down for a minute now and take Alfredo's question. Do we export a lot or import a lot from the US? I don't know. We're more like we import now from where we can, I think is the honest answer to that.
So when did you last buy something from the US?
I don't. Software, perhaps software, but not goods. I mean, we don't buy. I don't think we buy many goods. What's our researcher? What's the
well, we don't know where Amazon sources the goods it sells in the UK from.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wouldn't count Amazon as buying American goods. It's buying goods sold by an American.
You're missing the point. We might be buying them in the UK, but how did they get to the UK? Because they have these massive buying power, and some of the things clearly do come from the States.
Well, when I buy it, sometimes I'll buy a gadget or something from Facebook, and it takes a while because it comes from America. A couple of gadgets that I bought in the past. I haven't bought any for a while.
Well, we certainly export to the local produce here to the States because we can't build enough Land Rovers to ship there. So,
yeah.
Right. Okay. The stats, Alfredo, in 2020, the US exported $59 billion worth of goods to the UK, and we exported to the US 50.2. So basically we swap things. Right.
Yeah.
So 50 billion worth of trade, but it's a swap. We send you things, you send us things. But in terms of global trade, that's a drop in the ocean. So our major trade is still with Europe because of the geographical situation.
At the moment, now.
Because we were stupid to leave anyway, weren't we?
No.
We sacked our biggest partners.
No. Right, anyway. But we've now got a green channel by the looks of it, and a red channel. Yeah, something I said long ago. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Where are you going? I'm going to Dublin. Join that escort. You won't be stopping. You'll be going right through with a police motorbike escort. Only time you stop is if you've got a bus driver. Go on you go. Down to Ireland. Go on. Yeah. On you go. No stopping and unloading anything, doing any illegal stuff. That's the corridor, like a Berlin corridor, which I was down at one point. Yeah, down, and you've got checkpoints watching them all the way down with the ANPR. There you go, tick that. Now, that's the way to do it.
Advanced Nautical Pirate Radio. Is that what ANPR stands for?
Is it?
Okay.
Well, ticking your number.
And we say good morning to Adogi. I don't think we've seen you before, so welcome to Blabbing for Britain. And I put that card back on so that you know. This is when the photo is from when we were younger.
Yes, a lot younger.
I still look the same.
No, you don't.
You get younger every day, Peter.
Yeah.
You get younger every day.
When a woman said I was 55 the other day, I was tickled pink. Then our mate said I looked 67.
There's nothing wrong with being 67. It's a great age.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 70. So there you go. There's no problems at all. It's only a number.
Do you know what?
Only a number.
How do the people of Royston Radio get back in touch with us?
At the moment, we're working. Fonzie and I are working on that. They'll be listening to this on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. And then we're part of a new radio station, so it's exciting to be involved, and
Okay.
we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes step by step. But already we're attracting more viewers today than we've done for a long time.
So
As
can
it's
we
looked-
have jingles on our show now then? It's the place to be on a Sunday with the old farts on Royston Radio.
do we vote? Do we vote for that jingle, Peter, or do you just think that?
No. No.
Right. Okay. About the population in the UK, what percentage is 40 years over is employed? We've got to. We can't give you the stats because we but
That's top secret information.
it is. Yeah, we're not. It's not for public release. It has to be said that COVID. About, was it 300, 500,000 people decided not to go back to work? Yeah.
I can tell you this, Alfredo, in my business, I'm going to be putting an advert for another city. And the last time I done it, I hardly got anyone applying for my job, you know? And it's before, I remember in the UK, you could walk many years ago, you could walk from job to job to job. Do you remember those days, guys? You could leave in the morning and be employed with someone else in the afternoon. I really do remember those days, especially in the trades. But that's what's happening now. I'll tell you, Alfredo, I don't know if you know about this, but I'm in Scotland. And
Alfredo knows who we are. He's been with us for the last 6 years.
So here's the latest. Do you know what I'm really enjoying just now? I'm watching the Scottish National Party rip each other to shreds. Do you know what's happening lately?
Basically, it's reminiscent of the Tory leadership election when Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak went at each other. Yeah. That's the same happening in Scotland. They are calling each other out, Peter.
It started, and one of my ex-partners was actually involved in SAP, and he's from he's in the Split, right? And he writes a blog about it, and it's quite interesting to see. I just watch it, and what's happened is, I don't know if you know this, but at one stage, I think I won't get the figures out, but Humza was actually minus 35 in the poll. Okay.
Yeah.
And the next thing he went shooting up because he's the guy that the 110, the party 110, or Alex Marlowe and Nicola 110. And all of a sudden he went shooting to the up in the record. And the only way you could vote was, guess how?
By being a party member electronically.
Electronically only. So they're now accused of having bots, right? And then they've had hustings. But the tickets for the hustings were given out to select people. And Humza had a meeting where nobody was really allowed to go. It's got to be open to all. If it's open to him, it's got to be open to all. But they didn't have a hustings. Guess what they had?
I don't know. Okay.
A conversation with him.
Ah.
They changed the name of it. And there's also one SNP member who used the party email to contact people and contact the people she wanted to contact only. And it's just a nest of vipers at the moment, what's going on. It really, really is. And I think the outsider will win. Ash. Who I've never heard of.
Yeah. When is the election?
I'm not sure. It's coming up shortly. It's coming up shortly. And it's quite interesting. But the woman, it's a Christian, doesn't believe in sex outside marriage, all that from a wee free. She's been getting a hard time. Yusuf's been getting a hard time because he disappeared at the transfer vote because he went over to Pakistan. He said he was getting a bit of pressure from the local imam. That was the story, and that was his way of getting. So, that's everything that's happening here at the moment. It's going to be very, very interesting. In the meantime, I think the Scottish people are getting their eyes opened. I do not think they'll do too well in next election.
So voting by SNP members opens at noon on 13th of March. The party's approximately 100,000 members will receive electronic ballot papers, and for those without email addresses, physical papers. The vote closes at noon on 27th of March, with the result expected to be declared that day.
And those with physical papers, we'll collect them for you.
It's only 100,000.
You didn't see Peter's wink of the eye then, as if that's going to happen. I mean, it was visually it was very good. Okay, right. Okay, shall we go to Liverpool?
So it's 2:30 in the morning where Alfredo is.
Right. Okay. Shall we go to Liverpool in May for the Eurovision Song Contest?
What's the point? You can't get a ticket.
No, they've all sold out, haven't they? There are 9 shows in total, and they've all sold out.
And the final sold out in 36 minutes.
Now, we're hosting because we came second last year, and you can't host. And they've just chosen our representative, who is a young lady called May Muller. And she's 25. She's from London, and she's going to be singing on our behalf. I was listening to her earlier, and she reminds me of somebody. I just can't work out who yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's good for Liverpool, though. Yeah, it's a good spotlight to be in. I think it's more useful than a lot of things.
Should have come to Birmingham to the NEC, so it was central and everybody could have gone to it, because the venue is twice the size of the venue in Liverpool.
Liverpool is.
We could have came to Aberdeen.
Yeah, I mean, there was a competition, wasn't there, John?
Yeah.
And the Liverpool was chosen out of everybody who volunteered to host, and therefore they're rightfully there. I mean, if you had your way, every national event would take place in Birmingham because it's in the middle.
No, in this case, right?
Yeah.
It went to Liverpool because of the history of the Beatles.
Okay.
Not because the venue was the best venue.
No, I mean, it's not just the Beatles. It's during the Pacemakers, Billy J. Kramer. Peter knows all the artists.
The vast majority of the people who voted knew the Beatles. How many of them actually knew Billy J. Kramer, Ferry Across the Mersey, and all those sort of things? So, were we there to service as many people as possible, or to say, oh, well, historically we've done well in Liverpool, we'll go to Liverpool?
Okay.
If there are 1,000 places to pick and you pick one out of 1,000, then the other 999 are going to complain. Peter.
Yeah, there are 5 places in the final.
I'll just say to Alfredo, yes, we've had a fair bit of snow and we've got a snow warning coming up. It's nothing to us. We'll deal with it. End of.
And I've got as much snow in central England as Peter's got up in Scotland. So
yeah.
Right. Okay. So Alfredo, for the benefit of our listeners on Royston Radio, the question was: in Scotland, are there snow warnings for the coldest night of the year? And then Alfredo was congratulating us on episode 365 of Blabbing for Britain.
365. Wow.
365.
One for every day of the year.
I know.
Yeah. Over 7 years.
Spread them over a lot of years.
Yeah.
Over 7.
I'll never get that time back.
No, you can't. No, but it's. We're on the radio now, Peter. I mean, we never thought that we'd actually be on Royston Radio.
I'm gonna let the people of Royston Radio know something. I can't tell you who it was for, but I was down in London on Monday, and I was standing in for someone famous, and I was getting filmed along with 2 other people, and that's
Was
all I
it
can say at the moment.
was it connected with lookalikes, Peter?
Yes, it was lookalikes. Yes. Flown down, and it's the second time I've been picked up by a limousine with my name. And the guy taking me, and I'm sitting in the back. I felt like royalty. And then I went and filmed in London for half a day, and then put me back on home again.
I don't think you look like him anymore. I think you look better now you've
I
matured.
was actually dressed up and my hair combed and everything, because he's lost a lot of weight himself. Yeah. I bet you that people are going mental saying, who is it? But won't tell them. That'll make them ask when they listen to the show. Answers in a postcard or an email, maybe.
Well, you see, there is a thing. There is a thing about radio, and they can't actually see you, Peter, so they can't see. They can't see me. They can't see John.
It's just as well. It's just as well. We're ugly.
Okay. Now then, where can we go next? If you're listening on Royston Radio and you do have something you'd like us to talk about in a future broadcast, then please do let the station know, and we'll do our best to feature it in the next broadcast.
Yeah.
I think we're now in a permanent slot, 11 a.m. every Sunday on Royston Radio.
Okay. I
Okay.
promise not to make you choke in your for 1 week anyway.
Right. Okay. I'm going to say one phrase, and you'll know immediately what I'm talking about. If I were a rich man. If I were a rich man. Indeed.
Oh, yes. I wish I was a rich man.
Yeah, but we know where it comes from. It comes from Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Through the film and through the musical show in the West End of London, we all came to know of and respect and enjoy Topol, who left us today. So thoughts with his family, and we're of that age, Peter and John, aren't we? Where people who've been part of our lives die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have good memories. I mean, the thanks to video and audio, to radio and to television, and to John's absence of Crisp.ai, we do have a great catalogue to look back on.
Yes. Yeah. So we better explain what Crisp is to the audience.
Right. Peter and I are using Crisp.ai. The thing is that when you're broadcasting live, the only thing you want to have on the recording is your voice. Not any noises that you make, but your voice. So we use Crisp.ai to cut out all background noise. So in other words, if my dog came in and barked now, you would not hear it on the video or the radio. That's what we have, noise cancellation, and it is a good thing to have, and it is free as well. So, but if you get the professional version, then you can use it as often as you want, really. Because Peter, it just works, doesn't it, out the box?
And both Stephen and I have actually had builders. I had a builder next door, and the sound was horrendous, but they never heard it. And Stephen one day had someone on his roof pounding away, never heard it. One day Sheila come in and shouted at me, and she says, "Look at the mess this room is in. Will you stop throwing your underpants and everything about?" And nobody heard that.
No, fortunately. Yeah, I mean, you can hear, but people listening can't hear, and that's the major difference. And Crisp are the best. We know that they're the Rolls Royce of noise cancellation systems. When you buy a webcam or a microphone these days, it comes with noise cancellation, but Crisp is the best. So shout out to Crisp.ai. and there is a free version.
KRISP, folks. KRISP.
That's a good point. It's not crisp as in bag of crisps, is it? It's crisp as in KR.
You know something? The amount of people I tell about it, and they still don't load it, Stephen. They think I'm on a selling spree. No, there is affiliate link, but I just tell them what the name of it. Because I'm nice that way. I don't.
You are promoting things. Right, true story. This okay. Because we're live now on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live on LinkedIn, and I go live on Amazon Live 5 days a week. Amazon.com. And for the last 2, 3 or 4 weeks, every so often on this camera, my screen would freeze. Yeah, for no apparent reason. It would just stop, and people would say, "You're frozen." And I'd say, "Yes, okay, I'm frozen." I'd refresh and come back, but it would freeze again. So last week, Safria, who's the Chief Technical Officer of BeLive, and Marina and the tech team actually asked me to do a 40-minute test broadcast, which I did. And I did freeze, and they were taking measurements in the background and working out how it could be improved to actually prevent it. And things got slightly better. But on Monday, I did a broadcast to Amazon, and I froze again, and people said, "You froze." And I said, "Hey, this is stupid." So I went on a separate system, which is not BeLive, and guess what happened?
You froze.
I froze. Right. Okay. So my screen, see, we're all in tune here. My screen froze, and I thought, okay, it's not the software. It's not it's your machine. My machine has a problem. And I did all the usual tests. I tested everything out, video drivers, made sure everything was up to date. And then I noticed that my free disk space on my hard drive was down to 17%. Now, normally, John will back me up on this, hopefully, we do recommend that you have at least 20% of your disk free. Because when you're doing live video, what happens is that things are actually switched out to disk and then switched back again. And if I say anything that's wrong, John's going to correct me. So mine was down at 17. Sorry, John?
I said you're right so far.
Good. Okay. So mine was down at 17%. So on Monday night, I got Tree Size, which is my favorite disk management system, and I deleted 200 gigabytes of data. I spring clean everything you're not going to look at, because the thing is, I don't know about you, but I hoard things on my hard drive. I might just need something from 4 years ago, so I leave it on the hard drive. It just gets fuller. So now I've got 32% free on my disk drive. And guess what?
You're okay.
I did a 90-minute show on Tuesday on Amazon. Perfect. I did a 2-hour show yesterday on Amazon. Perfect. So if you do have problems, we have a new thing to look for. Check how much free disk space you have on your hard drive. Do allow your system to swap in and out as you're actually using it. So try and keep it. I would recommend it. I'm going to up now and say 25% of your disk should be free for your PC or Mac to work at optimum. If you have it less than 20, then you're going to get problems.
That's on your system drive, because I've actually got 3 2-gig discs in the machine. Yeah. All SSDs, but the system shipped with a 256 gig, 6 terabytes, not 6 gigabytes disk, and it eventually went. And earlier this year, I swapped out the 256 meg stick and put in a 1 terabyte, but because you've got a copy from one to the other, I needed to buy an external drive to hold the 1 terabyte in to do the system copy. And now the 256 that came out is in this little case, which is what I use for there. And now I've got myself a small, easy fits into your pocket job for when I want to go out and about and save data on people's machines.
Yeah.
and it cost me 73 quid to.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you the
And the machine is considerably faster than it was before, because the original was a Type 2 drive and this is a Type 4 drive, and also before it kept hunting for space. So yeah, free space on your system disk is critical, that you have preferably 30% free, but at least 20.
Yeah, the thing is, it just creeps up on you.
Yeah.
And first you don't notice it, and it's basically, yes, so it's now part of my recommendation.
So the first thing I did when I still had the smaller drive in there was move OneDrive to a different disk. So OneDrive used one of the 2 terabyte SSDs that is in the machine.
Okay, Peter.
Yeah, just minutes. Carry on. I've got to do something here. You know,
Right, okay.
Somebody wants the pigeons removed from their solar panels. Is that what it is, Peter?
No, but I did get one. I have to go down to Dundee and look at a job for cleaning out a church. It's had pigeons for years. Great.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Okay, you carry on. I'll just be finished.
I would have thought all the pigeons were hiding up underneath as many solar panels as they can find in this weather.
Yeah. Indeed. Right. Okay. I'm just looking for something to keep us going. I mean, the thing is, there's a difference here. When we're on video, as we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, people can actually see us. So when we take a breather, people can see us. But on radio, all we're getting is radio silence, and we know that's a no-no. So we are trying to keep going and keep chatting about anything and everything to do with the UK. Okay, I think politics is quite quiet at the moment, apart from the boats thing, isn't it? With no major stories on the go.
Well, lots of criticism of Lineker.
Oh yeah.
Right, Peter doesn't want to talk about Mr. Lineker, so Peter, we're going to hide Peter. Right, so Peter's hidden, and we're going to talk about Mr. Lineker. When we say Mr. Lineker, are we referring to Mr. Gary Lineker?
We are, yes.
Are we referring to Twitter?
Well, it doesn't matter where he does it, does it? he is going against the organisation he is employed by's principles. Yeah. Now, his argument is he's self-employed, but he's still being paid by the BBC. So a lot of people feel he should be observing the instructions of his employers or the people who pay him. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, I think his sentiments are fine, but
yeah, I agree with this.
taking advantage
right.
of the fact that his position affords him a large audience. All I can see is your ear, by the way, Stephen.
Yeah, no, that's intentional. Just a second. I'm just moving things around. I don't know how am I going to find out whether Peter wants to come back, because I've switched his camera off. Peter, I'm going to switch your camera back on. And if you want to come back on, just put your thumbs up. Right, so we've got Peter. Peter's actually still working away. Yeah, I mean, basically, the argument that he's making is that he is a sports commentator on the BBC, and that his personal Twitter account is his personal Twitter account. He is not involved in current affairs in any which way, anywhere at all, and he should be able to speak his mind. Peter, should people be able to speak their mind?
Should, right? But the problem we've got is some people get cancelled and some don't. Now, folks, I'll just let you tell you, that's why you've heard what I'm like. I am a member of the Free Speech. I'll give them a shout.
I think we're thinking about Gary Lineker's position.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying about he can listen. Gary Lineker can go and say what he wants, anything, and I doubt if he'd ever be sacked, and I don't know why.
Well, he doesn't do the crisp adverts anymore.
No, but I'm saying, I don't know the reason for that, but however, he can basically say what he wants. If somebody else had said that, I've got a feeling that we'd be gone. And he doesn't know it, but he might think he's almighty, but a lot of people do not like him because the fact he's getting away from it. That's how I see it.
I just want to go back to the comparison. I don't think the comparison he made holds water. Yeah, I mean, no matter how bad you think the our response to small boats is, it's nothing like anything that happened in World War II.
The name Nazi shouldn't be thrown about like
that. That's what I'm getting at, Peter.
He's not comparing it to World War II, though. He's comparing it to, let's use the word, ethnic cleansing that took place in the 30s. Yeah?
Ethnic
in
cleansing.
Germany.
Right.
So basically, he's comparing it to a race of individuals that were persecuted and he's saying we're persecuting the people that are coming over when they have no choice to try to escape.
You're telling me they're coming from France. It's a safe country.
Well, I'm not telling you anything. This is what he's saying.
Well, I'll tell Gary, if you're listening, it's a safe country. Come in the proper route. And we will look at your case. A lot of them know they won't be kept. That's the problem. You say, you're from Albania. Bye. Back you go. Right? Which country? I've forgotten my password. You don't know.
Here's a question for you, Peter. We're supposed to be partners, trade partners, whatever you want to call it, with France. Yet we're saying, tough shit, they've arrived on your territory, don't send them to us.
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
So is that partnership? Or is that avoiding?
Can I put this question? Why aren't the refugees in France being looked after properly? Why are they living in tents? Why are they not in hotels?
Because the French have a different approach to the approach we have, Peter.
Shouldn't they be putting them up in hotels and feed them and everything?
No. You see, this is the thing. Every country is different, sets its own rules, and basically, we as Brits, speaking generally now, like to feel that people should have human rights and be looked after, and we do our best to do that. Other countries not so. But l'entente cordiale returns tomorrow on Friday, when Rishi Sunak goes over to France to meet President Macron. And apparently, for the first time for yonks, since Boris Johnson and what Liz Truss was it? The first time ever there's going to be a good relationship between the leader of France and the leader of Great Britain, because they come from similar backgrounds, have similar beliefs, and relationships between France and Great Britain should improve starting tomorrow.
Listen, do you know what? I'm Rishi today, right? I'd say, President Macron, here's the score. See if you don't stop mucking me about like this. 1, we're out of the EHCR. 2, you can forget it. We'll put in Article 16 or whatever it is. Put up your border. We're not putting up. You put your border up and see what happens. I've had enough of you pushing us to the limit. Now get it sorted out by end of November, or we're off for good, and we'll buy food from all over, and we'll make it difficult when you're putting stuff to Ireland and say, here's a taste of your own medicine.
There's no need to go to war over this, Peter. I mean, as I said, they're going to be in agreement and they're going to work out a plan that suits everybody.
Voila, bang, there you go. That's my deal.
So under Peter's way forward, we won't be getting any foie gras, champagne, or certain cheeses then.
No, we'll make our own stuff and we'll get it elsewhere.
The end of Camembert and Brie as we know it.
Put it in Red Cross parcels when our nation's starving.
No, I hate to say this, but France are not the enemy.
I know that. I know. But when we're down, have live aid parties for us in Britain and send food parcels. That's what I say. Yeah? Okay. Oh, I'm starving. Get Bob Geldof and his mates to go and do a concert for me. and send me food. Diabetic food I prefer, actually. Yeah. I'll give you my menu.
Now, Fred is coming back. The disk space causes freezing. It does. Since the day John and I got involved in computers, the magic of computers is the ability to swap memory in and out of disk. And if so, something's in RAM, goes to your hard drive, and then it comes back again. And that's swapping. That's been with us since the time immemorial. And if you don't have enough space on your hard drive, it spends more time trying to find space and stuffs the whole system. So it basically causes what we would term buffering. Yeah. And that basically freezes the screen, because the first thing to go on the live broadcast is the video. So people can still hear you, but they can't see you moving.
So Peter, in these forecasts you're making, Peter, did you take account of what Mystic Meg has to say?
Was she still around?
She died this morning, actually, Peter.
Okay. Yeah.
We are of an age, as I said for the second time. So, Alfredo, I basically, before I told everybody about this publicly, about disk space, lack of disk space causing freezing, I did post it on Slack with Belive to make sure I wasn't talking total nonsense. So I do know, and John's confirmed, that it's wise to have at least 32% disk space on your hard drive.
Alfredo, as one, I had a problem, 2 problems that we'll tell them about. We might as well tell people about our gadgets. I've got a garage which I'm in, it's my little office, and my partner would not let me dig a cable across the garden. It was a big fight until Stephen mentioned DECO, DECO, and it's a relay system for Wi-Fi, and it is excellent, and I'm using it now. But the other thing, the guys looked at my computer, and they sorted out, and they says you need an i7 computer. And once I've actually got good computer now, and it's all because I met these guys. Sometimes we fall out, but that's why I stay friendly. They come in very useful at times.
We have our uses, Peter. We do have our uses.
Right. I want to ask each one of us. I'm going to ask you something. Start thinking. I'll do last. Tell me one thing about where you live in particular you're so proud of.
I think proud of basically the way that the town is run. Devisers always delivers, from the festivals to the confetti battles. It's basically the way things are organised by the town hall and by volunteers. That there's always something in the summer. There's always something going on in Devisers. Okay. So, yeah.
John?
Well, we have some of the best facilities, of course, because the NEC and Birmingham Airport are not in Birmingham, they're in Solihull. And we also we're the home of the Land Rover, and the Land Rover has been produced here since 1946.
Right. And I'm going to surprise you all with what I'm going to mention.
Okay.
Aberdeen used to be, there were flowers everywhere, planted by the council. And we won Britain in Bloom.
I remember that. 9
times in a row, and then we were asked not to enter again. And I am proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
The council switched in Solihull, and actually quite a bit of this happened around the airport area and the NEC, to not having grass verges, and they replanted them with wildflower seeds, and they look magnificent, and they come back every year. So the council's saving money because it's not cutting any longer, and it's not having to sow. I mean, it has bare patches where it has to come and sow seeds, but it's not having to do virtually any maintenance on road centres and edges and things on all the major roads.
Yeah. That's good.
I'm conscious of one thing, and I've got my message across. If you're watching this live on video, thank you. We only have 60 minutes on Royston Radio, so it's getting up to 60 minutes. So I'm going to say over to John.
Okay, so over to me. It's because I always say goodbye to everybody. So it's goodbye from him down in the southwest, him up in the northern territories of Great Britain, i.e. Aberdeenshire, and myself in the West Midlands. We'll be here same time, same place next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come back.